Well, hello everybody, the History Guy here. As I have mentioned in my last few videos, you will not see my face probably for at least a week or so as we are transitioning into our new home. I've got some things packed up and stacked behind me which make it impossible to put my green screen there. So in the meantime, you still hear my voice just like old times. And as I await updates which will allow me to finish off my Brazil series in Hearts of Iron 4. I thought I'd start something new to bide the time, and I want to go back to Millennium Dawn because I had a lot of fun in the past doing that. I have 2 mods enabled of the 3 Millennium Dawn mods because the third one is what messed me up before because it hasn't been updated. So I have Millennium Dawn, which is a modern day mod which can take you starting in 2000, but I'm also using what's known as the Trump and Brexit edition, which gives you these additional options of June 1st, 2016 and January 20th, 2017, which is when Donald Trump was sworn in as President of the United States. So, I'm going to start in June of 2016, and I thought it might be kind of fun, especially since I know there are a number of folks from Germany who are a part of this channel. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back to 2000. I changed my mind. That was what I intended to do to begin with. We're going to start in the year 2000 as Gerhard Schroeder, who is the leader at the time of Germany, and we are actually going to play as the nation of Germany. We're going to bring Germany back to its original dominance. We're going to go on easy mode for now, not very easy, which I guess is a new option that's available with the updates that have happened. And you're going to see a little bit of the update. I forget what they call it. I think Cornflakes. That's the name of the update to the game, which gives you this really cool new option, which I'm going to talk about a little bit. It's decisions, and these decisions are used with, they're purchased with, what do you call them? You know, the points that you normally use. I'm just drawing a blank right now. Political power. So you can spend all these points to make these new decisions, which kind of add more flavor to the game, give you more options. As you can see, right off the bat, of course, we have some American units inside Germany as well as some British units, all part of the NATO force. A lot of Americans I know are stationed in Germany. Some of you may be even watching this channel. Our goal is this. We're going to bring Germany back to her former glory as the dominant power of Europe. Now, obviously, World War I and World War II both happened in large part because of the dominance and the power of Germany. And so we want to go back to that. So a couple of goals that I've got that I'm going to set here. We're going to take Germany back to a monarchy. We're going to go down the road of bringing the Hohenzollerns back to power. Kaiser Wilhelm's family shall once again sit on the throne. So we're going to go down this road here, an ideology focus, and eventually that's going to give us the ability to go down. Now there's a couple options. You can go obviously the route of freedom, which is what Germany is now. You can go within the European Union or just an independent Germany. You can go socialism, communism, or you can go the route of monarchy or even fascism. Not going to go that route. Going to go the legacy of the Kaiser. That's the way we're going to go. So that's the first thing. Second thing I'm definitely going to do, just because I think it'll make it more interesting, is that we're going to leave the European Union as soon as possible. And that is a decision once I get to 150 points that will be available to me right here. Leave the EU, which it will actually give me a boost in political power moving forward. So that's that. Germany does not have much of an armed forces at all, so that's going to have to change. I have to start firing that up again. We only have 13 divisions, which is just not much at all. So we're going to start training up some panzer brigades. And just kind of get everything going here. How many factories do we have? Not a lot. So we're going to start firing up some more military factories too, because we just don't have that many. So that'll be our initial kind of starting point. And we'll get a couple destroyers going. just because we've got the dockyards, we may as well use them. And now we kind of need all of our equipment production. All the stuff that you normally have to do to kind of get the game going at the beginning. Still need anti-air artillery, light tank, and main battle tank. Okay. Alright, so there's everything we need. We'll just kind of focus on infantry equipment for now until I get some more factories going. Get our trade where it needs to be to import what we need. But eventually the goal here is to be as self-sufficient as possible so we don't need to import things. And of course then there's lots of research to be done. I want to, right off the bat, as always, focus on industry. This will give us a construction speed bonus. Nah, oh yeah, because then that'll eventually get us down to where we can do more research time. Okay, and we're going to upgrade our main battle tanks. No, we went to 2,000, so that's not really an option right now. Alright, so I guess none of these things are really the way to go. Here we go. Tornado GR4 fighters. Looks like we could definitely use some upgrades on artillery. Infantry as well. There's some little things we can spend while we wait for time to catch up. Alright, so we're on the roll here. Probably a couple of things are going to happen right off the bat. Obviously, this is a game that sims really slow, the Millennium Dawn mod. Alright, new Security Council members. Gaining base stability and socialist and progressive. Nah, we'll just lose the 5 political power because I want to get that political power as fast as I can so I can start the process of leaving the EU once I get to 150 points. So we'll drop in and out as conditions warrant. There's an Al-Qaeda summit in Kuala Lumpur. All of this, of course, is leading up to September 11th, which is obviously a main event in the history of the world, and we'll have a lot of dominoes fall because of that, especially with the United States. But I would guess there will be some options for me as an ally of the U.S. To get involved in the wars in Afghanistan and then eventually Iraq when the time comes. German or English names? You know what? I'm kind of torn here because I know, for example, Munich is München. We're going to go with German names because we are Germany and we want to be fair to that. So, all right. So on January 24th, 2000, the news-focused television channel N24 was launched into public broadcasting. N24 is inspired by American news channels like Fox News and CNN, but refuses a political allegiance akin to the ones, akin, I guess that is, it's kind of hard for me to read, akin to the one that American channels usually have. However, due to the fact that N24 is part of the pro-Sieben Saddle group, it is unlikely this channel will help non-establishment parties with its political sections. So, change in popularity of Social Democrats, Libertarians, and Conservatives by 1%. Doesn't matter. We are going the route of monarchy when the time comes. Klaus Peter Sabota. In a series of attempted terror attacks against German railroads between 1998 and 1999, former railway worker tried to protest changing working conditions and his drift into unemployment. We're going to go life in prison, get that 5 political power. All right, we're into February. Not a lot happening for a little while. It's going to be 40 more days before we get improved artillery. And then, of course, ideology focus about a month away on being able to make our first step toward monarchy. Alright, it's March of 2000. There's our ideology focus complete. We're going to go emphasize justice. This is going to increase the nationalist influence, the monarchist influence, the fascist influence, the reactionary influence, and the popularity of those parties but it gains path of order, which grants a drift toward fascism and nationalism and monarchy and towards reactionary democracy for a year. Once that's done, we're going to go Legacy of the Kaiser, which is going to change monarchy popularity by 5%, and more as we go along. Eventually, we'll get here to where we get to choose either the new Wilhelm or the new Bismarck. And we're actually going to go the new Wilhelm. Alright, we should also have, 8 days away from improved artillery, so we'll stick around long enough for that. And just while I'm waiting, just kind of look at where production stands with everything. Obviously, I have so few military factories that it's going to take a good long time for me to really start being able to improve my army. And at some point, I'll have to consider changing conscription laws, because 1 million is just not going to do it with the manpower that I'm going to need for a military that's really going to be influential in world events moving forward. In the meantime, let's see if we can do some training here. Oh, we can now attach air wings to the army. This is also something that's new with the update to the game, is you can just attach the air wings directly to an army rather than having them completely separate. Alright, there's improved artillery. Let's go ahead and take a look at... Okay, so we're kind of caught up on that. We can go anti-air since we are producing anti-air units. We'll kind of upgrade those, and that won't take very long at all. Alright, so it's the end of April 2000, and I've got the political power available to me to leave the EU. However, I'm missing one thing, and that is that I need 80% stability. I need to be below 80% stability, or I have to have a party that is reactionary or socialist. So I may not be able to do that as easily and as quickly as I thought I could. In the meantime, we'll look at some other options available to us to use those political points. I'm just going to have to go down a little further on the national focus tree before that's an option to me. In the meantime, let's take a look here. This one's kind of interesting, but again, I can't do it yet because I am not in a faction with Belgium. But you actually have this thing called Operation Napoleon, where you can actually make a secret agreement with France and the Netherlands to basically divide Belgium up amongst themselves. So let's see, there's an education policy. No. So there's really no decisions that are available to me that I choose, that I really want to make right now. What is this one? It gives me a building slot and a base stability. Actually, I want stability to drop a little bit, so no, I guess we're just going to sit tight on those points. So in the meantime, I can use them traditionally by looking at some of these things here. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do any of that. There's trade options. Conscription options aren't really available to me at the moment, because world tension's not high enough. Maybe it'll get there after 9/11. Alright, so my options are pretty limited in this way. I could make a trade change. I guess we're just going to sit tight for now. However, in 2 days we will have another national focus available. And we're going to start that slow drift toward monarchy. Alright. So let's take a look over here. And we're going to go Legacy of the Kaiser, which is going to really be the thing that kind of gets things off the ground as far as those parties go. Now you can see they're already starting to gain. There's a fascist party that's really slowly gaining. There's a nationalist party. Here's the Hohenzollern House. Georg Friedrich I would be our new ruler, it appears. And that popularity is going up a little faster. And then there's the reactionary party. Alright, so we're into the end of May now. Let me check real quick. We got a couple weeks yet on a bunch of research. All right, so in world events, Israeli forces retreat from southern Lebanon. Israel has had a partial military presence in southern Lebanon ever since they supported Christian militias in the Lebanese Civil War in 1982. The Israeli military staff has today confirmed that Israel has completed the retreat from the territory since occupied by them. Lebanese officials have made statements of approval. All right, we've got 6 days left. We're going to have a bunch of things that are coming up here. We'll be able to start making some of these tornado G4s. June 1st, the World Exhibition of the year 2000, the Expo in Hanover, was open to the public. Hey, there's some base stability and a little bit more political power, which of course I'm not going to use right now. So a bunch of decisions to be made here in just a minute. Okay. So we're caught up on fighters. I don't think we're going to worry about bombers just yet. Let's go ahead with some air doctrine, though. We'll go operational integrity. I guess we'll do some land doctrine as well. Mobile warfare is what it's about for me. If I want to be Germany, I want to be all about the blitzkrieg, just like in the past. All right, and then we'll have one more coming with the anti-air upgrade. All right, we're going to go back and look at engineering, industry. We're a little ahead there. So everything I can do to be as efficient as possible with the few factories that I have available to me. So we've produced a few. We've got some more common military factories. I'm going to go ahead and queue up even more. We absolutely need way more than I currently have available to me. So anything I can do. And there's probably some national focuses that I can do once I get myself to monarchy that I can focus on building up my nation. So it's going to be quite a few years before I'm in any position to militarily match some of the nations that I might conceivably look toward expansion for. So Eritrea and Ethiopia have signed a white peace. Not much else going on at the moment. Hohenzollern support is up to 3.5%. That's going to take a big jump when we hit Legacy of the Kaiser. All right, it's the end of July 2000. We have the Legacy of the Kaiser. And now we can go to Restore the Throne. This is going to increase monarchist influence by 2, change the popularity of monarchies by 10%, gains royal doctrine, which grants a drift toward monarchy. So we are going to be moving quickly toward monarchy once this one takes place. Let's take a look at where it stands right now. Hohenzollern is now at 8%. And it's going to drift at 0.06, but that's going to happen a lot more quickly once Restore the Throne happens. And we're also starting to get some of these new military factories going, which means the need to trade further. Oh, no, South Africa. We don't need that much. There we go. And just looking ahead to my research, I'm still about 22 days away from modern support weapons, which is the next one. We're still only going to be caught up to 95. A long way to go just to get my military up to even a decent status. So those of you who are old enough like me maybe remember this event, the Kursk. It was a Russian submarine that was lost with all hands. It took them a long time to eventually recover that. 116, 118, something like that. The entire crew was lost. If I was ever in the Navy, I could not serve on a submarine. That is for sure. I'm not full-blown claustrophobic, but being on a submarine, hundreds of meters below the surface, no thank you. And it's because of reasons like that. All right, modern support weapons is complete. And I guess we're going to look at another route here now. Armor. I don't think we have any of these other things. Are we producing light tanks? Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, we do have light tanks. So let's go ahead and upgrade those bad boys. Because we've got 1990, actually we've got 1970s light tanks right now. That is definitely not going to fly in my modern German army. Okay, we're about 40 days away from Restore the Throne. So I would guess probably within a year we should be returned to monarchy. That should be really interesting when things start happening with 9/11 and me being a monarchist member of NATO. All right, end of September of 2000, and we're about to get our air doctrine complete, as well as ceramic body armor, and also our next national focus. So what is this? On October 2nd, 2000, the synagogue and Jewish community center in Golsheim, part of Dusseldorf, was attacked in an act of arson by two young Arabs. The attack caused widespread disgust and signs of solidarity with the Jewish community that especially showed themselves in renewed acts of Holocaust remembrance and pro-Jewish charity collections, much to the dismay of Germany's far-right factions. We're going to lose some political power here, but no, we are not going to go down that route again, Germany. No. Air doctrine will continue. Fighter baiting. And where are we on this? All right, we are 5 days away from the Restore the Throne, which hopefully can get us, oh, what's this? 10 years of German unity. It's only been 10 years? Wow. Yeah, I guess it had been at that point, only 10 years. That's amazing to me. Everybody today just kind of takes for granted that Germany's always been one country, but I mean, I was in middle school when East and West Germany reunited. All right, there's Restore the Throne. Prime Minister Tony Blair lashed out against both European Union and the Commonwealth of Nations today. They hold Britain back, and they are corrupt and foolish, as the statement went. Some journalists have viewed this as a misstep of a potentially drunk politician. I don't remember anybody feeling that way about Tony Blair, but maybe I'm wrong. Brits are at it again, it appears. Okay. So we require abandoned our friends on this one. So I guess that means we have to go look elsewhere. Where is abandon our friends? I would guess it's somewhere in the foreign ministry. I'll have to look for that. Let me just check that out and just kind of look this over a little bit and come right back. All right, so I'm an idiot. It's right here. So we have to do weaken the Bundestag. So that removes the national spirit German legacy. Interesting. Let's see what that national spirit does. So that's actually going to drop my stability below 80%. And that'll remove the drift toward fascism and communism. Okay. Actually, it's going to increase that, I guess. Alright, just looking ahead here. Nothing happening anytime real soon. We'll look at our production, make sure that we're making the best use of everything out there. We are. And we could, in theory, get these other units into the field, these panzer divisions, but we're not quite there yet. USS Cole bombing. That was in Yemen, wasn't it? The United States Naval Command has reported the destroyer USS Cole was attacked by Al-Qaeda, killing 17 American servicemen. American intelligence reports point to the government of Sudan as possible supporter of the two attackers. Send our condolences to the Americans. Borussia Dortmund joins the stock market. One of Germany's biggest and most successful football clubs has recently seen financial struggles in order to stay competitive in the first football league, and thus decided to join the stock market. Interesting. Not really sure that has any great impact on the politics of Germany, but interesting anyway, as a soccer fan myself. Alright, so what do we still need to leave the EU? Well, we'll need our stability to drop. Oh, U.S. presidential election. George W. Bush, the candidate of the Republican Party, has won the presidential election of the United States. All right. We need less than 80% stability, but we also need either a reactionary or socialist ruling party, which that's not going to happen, I guess. So we may not be leaving the EU anytime soon. Do have our light tanks finally kind of coming along here. So that'll give us something new to build. Let's go ahead and upgrade those. Excellent. Some new research slots available. Oh, decisions at this point. We're already doing land doctrine. We've already got our artillery. We've already got our armor. I guess we'll go with... Wow. Not a lot of options in the year 2000 because everything's kind of 2002 or beyond. I guess we'll go some of these things over here. Things I don't really necessarily need all that much, but they'll be easier to research. Alright, Russia, give us a little more oil. Alright, so we'll probably go another couple of months in this particular sim. I want to at least get to where I can be well on my way to monarchy in this first episode. Alright, as we come into December of 2000, we're about to complete this next national focus, which is to weaken our parliament. It's a step toward a strong monarchy. It's also going to remove this legacy national spirit, which is now gone. And now we can do abandon our friends. It's kind of slowing down a little bit here. So this is going to, so this is where we get our step toward leaving the EU. Excellent. And we will leave NATO at this point. Alright, so we're going to leave the European Union. We're going to leave NATO with this next one. So big things are about to happen in early 2001. So we'll stick around long enough for that in this episode, and then I think that'll be a good point to wrap it up. Well, as we are into January of 2001, I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of these political points and go with industrial company, which gives me a better factory output and civilian factory construction speed, which I'm now also going to kind of queue up a few of. We're about to complete another military factory. I've also gone ahead and started producing some of these Tornado G4s so we can upgrade our Air Force slowly. It's not going to happen real quick. Nothing is happening quickly right now. But we'll get going on that. And let's take a look here. We are coming up on our land doctrine completion. And we can't be far now from abandon our friends. About a month away on that one. So we're just going to keep one thread going of land doctrine, because doctrines are not affected by the year, so there's no penalty to researching ahead on those. So those are kind of like nice little bonuses that you can give to yourself. They just take a while to research. A coup in Burundi. I don't think that affects me all that much. There's a encryption algorithm. We're kind of ahead on that, so it doesn't really help me a whole lot. I guess we'll go naval. Nah, we don't really have any reason to focus on the Navy too much right now. I just don't see a lot of options that mean a lot to me at the moment. Mechanized. Yeah, we'll upgrade our mechanized because that is something that we're using. Alright, so we're into late February of 2001, and abandon our friends is about to be triggered. I don't really want to abandon my friends, but it's what I have to do to go the direction I want to go with my nation. So we're going to see what happens here. Alright, so abandon our friends has triggered. Germany leaves the European Union Today, the German delegation to the European Parliament has left the buildings in Brussels for what might be the last time. Article 50 has been fulfilled and pulled through the treaties with the EU partners reset to ones of an unusual international partnership. Germany has left the European Union. All right, now we can go Kaiser Stadt. Bring back the Kaiser. Let's take a look and see if we can apply to join the EU. No, we're not going to do that. Not really still any decisions that I want to make. Not too worried about Ethiopia returning a emperor. Let's take a look now. The Hohenzollern Party is now up to 30 in popularity. However, it still has a negative daily change, but that seems to be slowing down. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It seems like it's still drifting in the wrong direction. And there's not really any... Well, a political advisor might do the trick. Let's see. I'm sure we got to have one somewhere. I should have been doing this all along. I need a royal aristocrat. Here we go. Drift toward monarchy. Perfect. There. I should have done that to begin with. That's interesting that it's still not affecting that. The Hohenzollerns it's now the number one party in our country, but I don't know. I guess we'll get there at some point. Okay. Keep our air doctrine going. We're really far off on that. Alright, we're not too far off on some of these things, so we'll go that route. Alright, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here. This is going to take us right up almost to September 11th, which obviously is going to be a defining factor in world events for the foreseeable future. Although now, being a nation that has left his friends, I am no longer a part of any of those factions. I'm not part of NATO anymore. I'm not part of the European Union. So I can kind of decide my own fate moving forward. Maybe form a new faction with somebody. So I'm kind of curious. I love to have the input of those who are watching. So what do you think of what I should do next? What direction should I go? What should I be focusing on? Who should I befriend? Who should I be looking toward as a possible enemy? There's a lot of options out there once we finish this path of monarchy. Obviously, I can focus on kind of rebuilding Prussia, which means taking territory back from places like Poland. There's a lot of foreign ministry options here that are available to me, that I can befriend different nations. There's obviously military reform that can be made. I definitely should probably focus on my economy and military buildup. I think maybe once I get monarchy in place, this may be the direction that I go next, is to really start ramping up my economy. So, but we'll see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you want to see more of this series, hit that thumbs up. That lets me know that. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.